Living by faith. Our attention today is on relying on God, obeying the law, trusting and following.
In this lesson, we're trying to apply several ideas from the Proverbs in the context of a very big question. What is right and wrong? If we don't believe in God, this question will be handled very differently. But for us, we have an indicator, and this is the moral law of God. It shows what sin is. And as the author puts it, it helps us acquire discernment. But when I think about it, it shows us what is the wrong part. But how about what is good and right? Is it just not doing what's wrong?
Keeping the law in itself is an act of faith. From one step in faith to another step in faith, and this is how we acquire wisdom. And this is so valuable, but it's not enough.
And this happens through experience. It's a walk with God. This is how we develop this sense and understanding for what is good and right. I like how Solomon puts it in. I can't understand justice unless we seek God.
And after all, our whole life is an intent and an effort to discover God, to be in touch with His reality, to find out who He really is. Those who seek Him, says Solomon, understand it. Proverbs says that we can understand wrong and right.
We're different people living in different circumstances, but Proverbs has some very practical advices for us once again. If we are of those considered more privileged, or being rich, or if we don't have much and we are poor, what do you see about it in the lesson?
The rich people, somehow when we taste the power of money, it overpowers our mind and our heart. And yes, it is a resource for life, but with no more than a material benefit for us. Money has a dark side too. It can manipulate our choices and our decisions against our pure intentions.
Being rich or poor is not a virtue. Logically, when we develop ourselves and grow, we should accumulate experience, knowledge, wisdom, and goods. We should work hard, and this should make us richer. Laziness is usually related to being poor and result in being poor. But there is so much more into it, and there are so many other ugly factors that play in our world that things are not so simple. Here are some lessons from the author. Do not get rich at the expense of the poor. Give back. Give to the poor. Be generous. And don't rush it. Don't get obsessed of becoming rich. If you are a poor person, it's not a curse, but it's not an excuse as well. A poor person can oppress other poor people too. Don't do it. Poor and rich are equal. Righteousness in poverty is better than the wicked rich. At the end, it's about the person that we are.
The weaknesses of the character can be exercised by the poor as much as by the rich. The walk is the same.
Practical advices are very good and useful, but how can it happen so I can start loving the truth, loving the right and good thing, so I don't have to push myself to do what's good, but rather have it coming out of my heart?
Naturally.
We mentioned in the lesson that it's through a walk with God, and it's through our daily experiences. But the last point from the lesson is that it includes correction. The rod and rebuke give wisdom. But a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. Learning to understand what's right and wrong is not an easy experience. Some things we need to learn the hard way. But we have all the support and love that we need.
At the end, do we get it? What is right and what is wrong? Seek God first, and everything will be supplied.